Max morning, guys. Max morning.
Max
Max morning. Max morning, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing great. Just remember when you log in to connect to the audio at the lower left of your screen. It's good to have you guys here. And it's going to be an interesting and fun night. We have special guests in the house we are going to host tonight, and I'm sure you guys are looking forward to all that's going to be shared in this call today. So my name is Dr. James Osolu, and this is
Kuku Osolu.
We are Crown Diamonds of Max International, Nigeria. If you can hear me loud and clear, can you just type in an MM for Max Morning, MM for Max Morning. Great, Paul is here, Alphonsus, Martina. All right, great to have all of you on the call. We're going to jump right in straight away. But so, we've been doing the success stories where we host a number of associates to share their stories. We ask a few questions about their journey in Max so far, and then we get to learn from their experiences, their years of experiences. We get to learn what their challenges were, what they are optimistic about, and they get to share a lot of nuggets really that we would learn from, and it will greatly impact our businesses. And today it's really exciting to be the host for tonight's call, my wife and I, and we are going to be hosting one of the greatest couples in Max International. So these are actually our mentors, and just to say that these couple, they are truly amazing. I want to show you something. Now, this is something I just want you guys to see for a minute. Can you see this picture? Can you see this picture right here? This is July 2014. This is the first day I met Chris and Tammy Gingras physically. We had only seen them on the Max brochures then, and this was the first day I actually met them. You can see I was just a senior associate there with my big green shirt, Dr. Kofi at the back, Dr. Bright with his nice suit, oversized waistcoat with so many buttons. Anyway, so you can see this was the beginning. I was just like 3 weeks old in Max then, and this wonderful couple had come all the way from Canada to Ghana, somewhere. I don't know if they had been to Ghana before, but this was their first time, and they gave us a wonderful, remarkable training that opened our eyes, that we saw great potential in this. And just take a look at this. This was about 5-6 years ago. They were Crown Diamonds. I was a senior associate or an associate. Dr. Bright was not even bronze yet, but today all of us are Crown Diamonds. They successfully mentored us from ashes and made us diamonds. So join me to welcome our guests for the night, our special guests, Chris and Tammy, all the way from Canada. Welcome them in the chat. So they would, hello guys.
We miss you all so much.
I actually remember that picture as if it was yesterday.
It's so true.
It's amazing how fast things evolve. And thank you for sharing. It was wonderful.
And you guys look younger now. Seriously.
You look fresh and young.
That's great. Thank God for Max. So great. So we'll be, my wife and I will to at least learn more about your journey and how it has really been. So first of all, I would like to know how long have you been in Max?
We have been in Max for, I think we're 13 and a half years now. Honestly, when it gets to February 3rd, that would be 14 years. Sorry, February 3rd, 2021, right? That would be 14 years. So we're about 13 and a half years, close to 13 and a half years now.
Wow. Take number one. Wow.
It goes so fast. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And that was when Max launched, February 2007. That's when we were part of it. 2006, it was around December, a gentleman approached us and you know, shared a little bit about Max, a product that we're bringing into the market. And we weren't really that open. But then when we found out what the product was and we got our experience, we're like, whoa, we got to be part of this. And we hopped in immediately and got to work immediately.
Yes, absolutely. And I know Dr. James and Kuku, you have an agenda for us to follow. Let us know if you want to keep going or you want us to follow your sequence of questions. So I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and ask the first question just to give us a bit of context to how we got to this point. So tell us about your background and how you got involved with Max and what it was that appealed to you.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So,
I mean, you asked me. You want to start?
Yeah, I'll go briefly.
Okay, you go first.
So I'm a swimsuit designer by trade. I owned a manufacturing company. Before I got involved in the network marketing industry, I was approached by a girlfriend to have a look at home business. I wasn't open, but the products, they were good. So long story short is a gentleman, her leader sat down with me and all of it made sense. So the reason I got started is because I wanted to generate an extra income and to be able to come back home with my kids, because for me to be away from my kids all the time, you know, and always working morning to evening, that was very, very difficult because I didn't raise my kids when they were young. I had always a daycare or the school system, you know, that were raising my two children. So that's the reason I got into network marketing. So that's a little over 20 years ago. And Max fell into our lap 13 and a half years ago.
Yes. And you know, in my case, just like many of you, I was prospected by a gentleman, and I thought I was doing a presentation for something else. And because I've been involved in the industry for a long time, I really, my dream, I'll never forget, was to be able to earn a residual income, a kind of residual income, so I can at least do my car payment. This is how it all started. And that was a journey on its own, right? And then I met this gentleman who talked to me about what he was doing. And it was a product that I didn't fully understand. I didn't, you know, fully kind of get the sense of the wellness industry at the time. And, but lo and behold, I decided to get involved. And why did I get involved in network marketing with this person? It's because he was well organized and he was mentoring me throughout the process, as I have done for many people today, as you alluded earlier, Dr. James. And this is kind of how, you know, we got involved. Is I trusted the person that got me involved, and I saw the success that he had. He had really nice shoes, and he looked good, really sharp. And he was driving a convertible. At the time, it was a Z3 BMW convertible. You know, right now they're discontinued. They're not making them anymore. But at the time, that was hot, right? So that got my attention, the lifestyle. If he did it, maybe I can learn from him. And that's kind of how it all started.
Great. So what have you liked best about your journey with Max so far, 13 and a half years? Like, what have you liked best?
You know, if you've asked me that question 8 years ago, it would have been the income I have been able to reach. Because honestly, there has been evolution on what I like best. But at the time, to be fair to, you know, those of you listening to this, I wanted a stream of income I can trust and I can live on. So I can support my family, I can pay my mortgage, and I can concentrate my effort in doing this and walk away from my job. And that was not an easy process. It took me years to get there, right? So, but that was the very first thing, is the income associate. The other thing that was very close to parallel is the product is a product that I trusted, that I knew that people would continue to consume long after the excitement of the opportunity, right? That was the original stages. Today, what I like best about Max is the impact that we're having around the globe. For example, in my wildest dream, I never even thought I would set foot in Africa. I didn't know. For me, it was uncharted territory. It's something that, I mean, let alone, I never been to Australia, I never been to the Philippines. I mean, in Africa, no. And here we are, where Africa became, we call it sleeping giant, which has done incredibly well, right? And that's just the beginning. So to answer that question, sort of the long-winded answer, because there's different stages of what I like best, but it's the impact that we have in people's lives. It is so important. If you only knew how the feeling I have watching what is going on. And I know I'm not blind to the challenges that we're facing, but what business, what in life, what, you know, challenges is part of evolving. In fact, often leaders are forged through crisis and challenges. True. Right? So we kind of need this to evolve, but I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, so what new skills or ideas have you learned that have helped you with your Max business over time?
You want to go and do that?
Well, we've learned a lot of skills in our career in network marketing. We have already built international businesses in our previous company in different markets, of course. And we learned a lot of skills when we were fairly new in building this business. And I highly recommend that you spend your lifetime learning skills, because we're still learning skills. For me personally, I'm a belly to belly person. I love to meet people. I love to go into networking groups and get contacts and meet them for coffees. And, you know, it's something that I'm very comfortable doing. But there's a shift that had to be made over the years. And now with everything happened today, more and more people have to take a bigger leap in learning skills like Zoom, presenting on Zoom, things that I wasn't doing before that I'm doing now, you know, creating PowerPoints and all kinds of things that you'll learn as you grow in this business. So you'll learn a lot of skills. We've learned a lot of skills over time, but I would say more importantly today, we're learning a lot of skills online, how to connect with people organically through Facebook, through LinkedIn. What do you say to people? Like, there's a lot of things. Yeah.
In my case, you know, just to add that portion that I think has been the most significant in my learning aspect is patience. And sit back and listen. Listen to what the person is telling you. Understand what they want, what they need, and then address it. And that's probably one of the best skill. I don't make assumption. I don't assume someone's doing this or someone's doing that or someone's gonna. I will ask questions and I will listen to what they're gonna tell me before I start making all these ideas in my head about who this person is or what this person may do or may not do. And that's what it is sit and listen. You saw there's two ears and one mouth. Spend more time paying attention to what people tell you. And I'm telling you, they will tell you what they want. They will tell you what they need. And in turn, I know we have the solution. But if you, that's probably the part that I think has been the most dominant that I've learned in the process.
Awesome, that's great, because I know that we, along the way, we get to actually pick up a whole lot of skills that we were not even aware of or that we didn't even think that we would acquire. One very wonderful thing about this business is the fact that you deal with people and you get to really understand how to handle people, how to gain a lot of self-control, how to listen and not just respond, but actually to understand before you respond. So this business has actually taught us a lot of communication, and communication actually does rule the world. And if you can learn how to effectively communicate, then definitely you will be able to communicate across board, not just in business, but even in your family, at home, with people that you meet just randomly and all of that. So it's been really amazing for us also, because I never knew or thought I would be able to handle, so many people with different ideas, and you need to find ways to really get ideas, understand what these people are saying, and mash it up to actually provide wonderful solutions. But then what would you say, for instance, out of majority of these things, what has the key, like what do you think the key to your success has been so far? I know you have learned some skills, you have applied general things that you teach, but if I'm to ask you, what is the key that has really helped to drive your success so far, what would you say it is?
I bet you we're thinking about the same thing.
Okay, yeah.
I bet you, for me, I don't want to say, because I want you to say it first, because I want to know if I'm right. What's the key? What's the one word?
I think the key to our success is duplication. We've been able to create a system that has been duplicating around the world. And so what were you going to say?
Commitment.
Oh!
But duplication, it's I mean, it ranks right up there with commitment. I mean, there's no question.
Yeah.
But it's the commitment. It's the commitment. And what I found that I find so unfortunate, associates with power, with their little pinky, so much power right here that most people have right here, but that's what they have, and it compares to other people, their entire body, they have it right here. But the problem is they don't commit. Mm-hmm. They always get distracted by the white
noise.
I call it the white noise, right? And it's a very, very common problem, mm-hmm. right? Of course, we're dealing with challenges in our time today. We are. I mean, let's face it. This coronavirus is something that we're all connected to. We're all dealing with in different levels of intensity, but we're all dealing with it. But at the end of the day, that the companies are going to survive through this and thrive, especially after, when things go back to normal and it goes like a rocket ship, are the companies that are committed, and the leadership that are committed. Commitment is probably the foundation to everything. And the duplication process is critical. That's the reason why when we do our PowerPoint and we do things, Tammy started this, and earlier it was easy. Well, let me rephrase that. It was easier because everybody was learning, mm-hmm. right? So we introduced something and everybody accepted it and we all work with that something. But now that everybody has evolved to become, powerful individuals in many different aspects of their lives and Max and so forth, their ideas are flourishing and flowing. And the downside of that is everybody has an input now. And what's going on is often we may end up with 20 different presentations, which will reduce momentum because we got too many different variation of how the message is delivered. That's probably the one thing that I fear a little bit, is we're going to lose sight of that consistency. That is the reason why Africa became the #1 market in the world, is because you have been consistent. And that is critical. And as we go through some of those adjustments to make sure that we're here for the next 50 years, to make sure that your paycheck is being passed on to your children and grandchildren, we got to make sure we cover every angles as we come across as time goes forward. So duplication is absolutely critical. Sorry for the long-winded answer again.
I don't think about commitment because we are so committed.
Yeah.
We're more than 100% committed into our vision and our mission with Max. And more importantly, our mission is to break the cycle of poverty one person at a time, and we're not stopping. So Chris is absolutely correct. So many people wander in this business, and then they try something else because I think it's going to be better somewhere else. And the truth is, the challenge is when they look in the mirror, you know, they're not doing the right activities, or they're not disciplined, or they're not scheduling themselves to have success in this business. So, you know, there's a lot of skills that everybody needs to work on to build a business, a strong business.
But the key to your,
commitment
again,
is huge.
You've got to commit and stay the course. And that's why I say this a lot. Anyway, back to you. We went on a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's all right. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to ask, so what's the one piece of advice that you would give that you wish you had known sooner, prior to now?
Well, there's so many answers to that question, but the one that I find is the most important is take ownership of your business. Don't just assume that your upline will determine your fate. So, often what happens is we get involved, and it's normal to have mentoring and to idle our leaders and things. And when things don't go the way we anticipate it to go, the first thing we do is, what have you done? What have you done? What have you done for me lately? What will you do for me now? And this is one of the main reasons I think why, again, people tend to lose sight of why they do this is they never really own their business, right? It's like it's someone else's fault. It's the company's fault. It's my upland's fault. It's this fault. So the best advice is take ownership. This is an entrepreneur. This is a business where you are an entrepreneur, and there will be challenges. And if there's challenges, don't look for who to blame because of this problem, but how can you get better to overcome the problem so you can become the better person to lead? As I stated earlier, that a lot of the best leadership in the world has been forged in some of the most challenging time. And those of you that are sticking around, that are focusing, and that are learning from our mistakes, and they're not going to blame and get mad, but evolve from it, you are going to become very powerful. Not only powerful, but it comes with a really strong compensation plan that will pay you for decades to come. And this is the reason why we're doing so well. We've been through many, many challenges in our lives, as I stated earlier, and there's more to come, but every time we evolve. So I hope that kind of helps a bit.
And for me personally, again, we're talking about what's happening today in the economy and everything that's going on is in that shift into, the computer world online, everything's online. Well, I'm kind of learning a lot of this stuff now. So for me, I wish I would have adapted that a little bit sooner. And I think a lot of people are like that. For example, in the Philippines, with all of this happening, they're the type of people like I am. I just love people. I like going out and meeting people, and they do the same thing. They're belly to belly culture. And I think a lot of people are like that. And so it's been a shift for many people to present online, how to use the tools online. But everything, understand, these are all learnable skills. Nobody's born with any of these skills. And you need to evolve continuously. I came from a business background, having my own business. So I learned a lot of my personal skills in coming from that traditional business background. So coming in, I learned a lot from that. But most people have never been in business before. So a lot of this is a huge learning curve. And it's good, step up and learn skills. Don't try and do everything at the same time. Pick something that you want to get really good at, and then work on that, and then something else, and always evolving in your skills.
Great. So because now it's interesting, that you talk about challenges and that actually create leaders and all. And I'm excited because when you ask them, what's the one thing you do or what's the key to your success, I also thought commitment, because I know that there is no how you would be on top if you are not committed to what you do. So commitment, simplicity, duplication, consistency, all of these things are key, and they are things that we will definitely need to apply to grow in our businesses. And then, like you said, taking ownership of the, because a lot of times, yeah, we tend to want to point fingers. It is my upline's fault. It is my downline's fault. People don't take ownership of the decisions they make. People make mistakes and forget that there are consequences to the mistakes that they make as well. They rather look for who to blame or who to point fingers. So that is also key, because businesses are actually built on our personal decisions and involvement. But talking about challenges, like you said, we are in challenging times. I know. I'm going to ask you, I'm sure you, in your 13 years plus, you would have had a lot of challenges as well. So would you like to mention some of the challenges you've had and how you handled them, how you dealt with them?
Sure. I mean, in our career, we went through the SARS.
I went through lots.
We went through Ebola. We went through, there was other crisis and I'm overlooking. And
the 9/11.
And you know, what I found, I think, has been very, very helpful for us is don't focus so much on the problem. Focus on the goal. Because, and trust me, I say this, and I'm not perfect. Trust me. I mean, I get upset sometimes. I wake up in the morning with this, you know, COVID-19, and I'm fed up, right?
Yeah.
Like, damn it, just get on with it already. Just get away. Let us live. But at the end of the day, on the positive side of this, we are all shifting and evolving. For example, many of you are traveling constantly to go and do meetings. But because this situation and the proximity issues that we're dealing with, folks, this is not going to go away next month. This is going to be here for at least 18 months. This is not going to go away. I mean, life is different as of now, forever. And maybe one day we'll have a vaccine and everything else, but what's happening is we have to shift on how we do business, which is how we're communicating, you and I, right now. If it wouldn't be for that problem, this interview wouldn't be happening. Yes. These webinars we've been doing all week wouldn't be happening. Yes, you would still be on the road. Like I have associates in the Philippines that every month travel 12 hours to go to a meeting to support their team. 12 hours. And in 12 hours, that's 24 hours of driving every single month, and sometimes multiple times a month. Now, because of this situation, we are forced, we are forced to communicate because the show must go on. And what's happening is people are creature of habits. So after a while, we get used to use these tools, and it's going to become standard, accepted. So, and the other aspect is you go outside, and there's 3, 4, 5, 6 dolphins in our backyard that are constantly swimming around, playing around, that we didn't see because there's always boats, there's always people there, right? Yeah, so cool. We see more birds than ever. I don't know if you've been focusing on the level of toxicity and the level of pollution in the air. It went down more than 50% in a space of 1 week. So despite this challenging we're facing, there's also a positive aspect to it. And that's the answer, is I always try to look at the positive aspect of what's going on and don't focus always on the negative of what is not, right? Focus on what will and what is, and focus on the positive aspect. It will make a significant difference in your life. And when you think positive, guess what? You make better decisions. You're less frustrated. You listen more, and you respond with maybe a bit more wisdom instead of as responding with anger and insults and pointing the fingers and all of that. Do you see what I mean? So your attitude is the aroma of your heart. You remember the very first training? You were in Ghana, Dr. James. That's the very first training I did. Do you remember that training? don't know if you
To be honest, I'm not really sure. You had a lot of trainings with us.
We have a lot of training.
Sorry. Well, attitude is a aroma of your heart. Right?
Attitude and mindset.
Attitude and mindset
Exactly.
training.
Exactly.
And we talked about adjust versus react. And, you know, when situations happen, often people start to get angry and they're not thinking in the moment. They're just frustrated because they heard something that they don't know how to handle right now. And often it's best to sit back, sometimes even sleep on it, you know, and reflect and find some solutions. And that's something that Chris and I are really good at. We tend to not overreact to things that are going on. We sit back, we need to, you know, chill out first and kind of look at different things. So what can we do to make this better?
Well, sometimes I react, but then my wife will calm me down.
I'm the patient one. So, you know, when you were talking about, when he was talking about the most important, patience, I've already got patience because my mother raised me to be patient. But talking about that, so now we're talking about, okay, so we all have to adjust. Every single one of us has to adjust. And then so now we're not out there meeting people, which is something that I'm very comfortable and love to do. So now there's a shift. We need to go online. So what is a positive thing about online? Well, first of all, you're in the comfort of your own home. You can schedule the time that you can connect with people. What it was really mind-boggling for me that I really got, 2.2 billion people on Facebook, and it's a social platform. Talk about building relationships. You've got on Instagram, there's 1.5 billion people? And then you've got 660 million people on LinkedIn. Now, I think it's a whole lot easier to stay at home, schedule some time, become friends with people, send them a private message, look at something that's going on in their platform that you liked, that you could initiate a conversation. And we're getting so many more contacts now.
I know we're getting a little over the hour.
It's a good thing, you know?
Yeah, it's cool because now I like that we are talking about challenges because these are really challenging times. And I wanted to ask you still on that, have you like had times when you lost some of your team members or team leaders due to certain reasons or challenges? Were there times where you had to even rebuild? How did you handle those situations? How did you feel and what was the outcome?
Sure, absolutely. Well, I mean, this is a really, really good question because I know many of you can relate to this, and we had to rebuild our team, and I know Dr. James can relate to this. We had to rebuild our team 4 or 5 times. At least
in the industry, I say 3 times with Max.
With Max, about 3 times. Yeah, it's great. I guess I'm talking for the
and that's at the early stage building the foundation.
we built it. We had momentum. We had great things going on. And something happened, right? So and then we started building again, and then it turned around and it crashed down. But there was a certain level that maintained, and then we kept going at it, and it kept evolving and evolving and evolving and evolving, and then eventually we hit a diamond, double diamond, and I think just at the beginning as we were starting Africa, I think we hit triple diamond within the first couple months, because we already had momentum from the past years, right? So I guess the answer here is that we never got discouraged. As I said earlier, we committed for better or for worse, just like a marriage, and we decided to continue and stay the course. And that's what I meant earlier is that why I'm excited about the future of Max, and I know that's a future question, but let me answer it now, is we have a common problem when it comes to toxicity level, what we eat, what we breathe, viruses, and so forth. And strong immune system is the new it's going to be the new momentum, the new thing. And Max has probably some of the best possible supplement that exists in the world. And I know others will claim all sort of things, but I know for a fact that glutathione, again, not to turn this into a presentation, but it's the foundation to the welfare, well-being in the human body, right? and we have the precursors that boost it exponentially. And then we have a very generous compensation plan, even too generous, that we made a few little adjustments, but to make sure that we're here for the next 50, 60, 70, 100 years from now. And this is where the company is positioned towards it. I'm very, very excited. And the ones that are sticking forward, that they're sticking with it, that are planning and learning and evolving, are going to reap the rewards. I'm telling you. We are very, very excited. So despite the challenge that we're facing and the fact that we had to rebuild our teams, it's part of the process. But why do we have to rebuild our team? It's because the foundation that we build our team upon did not have enough of a solid, duplicatable foundation. And that's what we have been able to do. One of the greatest things we have is binary and a matching check. But what keeps the binary solid is the little prime level ones all over. That is it's like concrete that is creating foundations to solidify the binary, right? And that's what's important, is we're building a binary and a matching check, not a prime. That's a stepping block. And I think that's where some folks have been focusing their efforts on, and that's why they might have been a little bit discouraged on the results they're getting. Yeah. I'm telling you, the future is exciting. We have a good system. We just need to adjust the temperature just right to make sure that we can go through the challenges all the way up to the next momentum phase.
And you have to understand, not everybody's going to stay. Some people, one little thing is going to be presented to them, and they're going to fly like a fly in the wind. It is what it is, and you can't get emotionally attached to that. You need to focus on your committed people and continually bring new people to the table. That's something that we've been consistently doing for 13 and a half years. Yeah.
I really respect you guys a lot because of that, because I have seen you guys prospect in a plane. I've seen you prospect at the airport, and I'm like, I think I was like a platinum. Then I was wondering, what are Crown Diamonds still doing with prospecting? You know, I was wondering, but it's interesting to know that, because you know that the business is really based on building a solid foundation and never stop duplicating that process. You need to rather focus on building a solid foundation, not getting too comfortable up there, not getting too comfortable with the team that you think you have and everything is all right, not getting too emotionally connected to people who decide to leave or to chase something else. It is okay. And like you said, you talked about evolution, about evolving. I'm sure the way you joined Max at the beginning is not the same way I'm sure you have been there and the compensation plan has been reviewed over time, but you have stayed because your eyes were focused on the goals, because your eyes were focused on the future, not on the little shiny things that other people may present to you. You know that we have a great product, you know that we have a great opportunity, you know that we have a great future that can go for the next 50, 70 years, and you are committed to that cause. God bless you guys for really, really empowering us with all this information. Do you have more questions?
Yeah, so a bit about what's going on now, thinking about the pandemic and all the lockdowns that are happening in countries around the world. How have you adapted what you're doing with your Max business? How have you been able to adapt through this time?
Well, I mean, this is a good question. I'm glad that we're touching on that again, because honestly, this is one of the results of this confinement due to the virus that we're facing. Is we're forced to adjust how we do business, and this is not just network marketing. It's the education system. My son hasn't been to university since this whole thing started, but he hasn't missed a day in school because everything is done online, and he continues the process. Companies, same thing. We could go on and on and on and on. At the end of the day, with Max, what you need to do is you need to learn the process. Don't just count on your upline to host webinars for you. Learn how to do it. These tools are free up to a certain amount of people. And even then, it's very inexpensive, right? To even the tool you're using, I think it's around $10 a month, right? And to have up to 500 people in a room I mean, this is a great, amazing deal. So, you know, and if you can't afford that yet, fine, partner with someone who can. And if you can, get it for free and just get 5 people at a time for a presentation for up to 40, 45 minutes, right? So adjust to that. And Tammy's touch on the social media. Learn about Facebook. You know what my greatest schooling is right now? YouTube. For example, I was looking, I need to get some leads in Florida. I can't really go out right now and meet people. So I Google and I search for how to get leads, how to get Facebook leads. And I came up with a link, and this young guy shared at about 40-minute video on how to create an ad. So I listen, I pause, I did it, I listen, I pause it. By the time I have an ad. And right now my ad is running, and I get an average of 2 to sometimes 6 to 7 leads a day. Mm-hmm. Not everybody are prospects that are good, but the point here is YouTube has probably almost everything you possibly could desire to learn, and just search for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely true. That is true, because even I myself, it's where things I check on YouTube, how to fix your washing machine that still has clothes in it. I actually find an answer in
everything
YouTube.
is on YouTube.
How to it is actually
I'm a hairdresser now.
You know, my stove is just a gadget, and it's just stopped working. So I went ahead, I went to YouTube and I searched the model, and the guy's showing how I ordered the part, I replaced the part, and the stove is working.
Yeah.
And then our food dispenser didn't work. Okay. I went to YouTube. How do you I turn around and say, oh, that's not hard. I fixed it. Oh, now my food dispenser, and it's working better than before. You know?
Yeah, we're saving a lot of money, actually. You know, everybody's saving money working at home. So it's such a positive thing. You know, always have to look at the positive side. Everybody's saving money. They're having more quality time with their family. I think the most important thing is the discipline of scheduling, because you do have a business.
Mm-hmm. So how do you handle, you know, because now you are at home, it seems like you seem to be less busy, so you feel you have like a lot of time in your hands, and then before you know it, you have wasted all that time. It's already night. You don't even realize when it's Wednesday. You still think it's Monday. So how do you discipline yourself to really get in the work when you are at home in that familiar environment 24 hours in a day?
Honestly, let me rephrase that. What saves me on a daily basis is my calendar.
Yeah.
So whenever someone wants me to do a call, for example, this call we're doing today, right away, I blocked it, and I made, I make sure there's enough time so we can do the call without any pressure. And this morning we had another training on the max.com. Yesterday we had something else. And in fact, every single of the week I had calls. In between, I could receive another call from an associate in Quebec who wants to do a 3-way call, and I booked that one. So at the end of the day, the moment I get any kind of activities that is in line with my Max business, generally it's really pretty much what we do, is it's schedule.
Yeah.
And I make sure that there's notification 15 minutes prior to whatever it is I schedule, it will notify me. And because we work from home and I carry my phone, it just notifies me of, whatever's going on. And then from there I respond. And this is how I've been able to follow through. And honestly, folks, there's so much time left.
There is.
And we're busy. People cannot believe how busy we are. And don't get me wrong, we're busy. Mm-hmm. But because things are scheduled, and I also try to avoid the chit chats. Sometimes you could be on the phone and chit chat for hours. I just don't have that luxury of time. So I'll be very straightforward, and I try to answer the question. And I told associates is, listen, I want to make sure we have time, and I also have time for others as we go throughout the day. Tell me what your question is, where I can help you. And based on the request that I've answered, then I know how much time we have left to chat about certain personal things if it's necessary. So I'm very careful of how much I spend just kind of wasting. And sometimes, spending time chatting is important because you build on a relationship. Don't get me wrong. It's just that you have to choose your battles, man. You have to choose where you could spend a lot of time and where you cannot. And if you're not aware of your schedule because you don't really keep tab of your activities daily, that's when you can get in trouble. Next thing you know, you forgot this call, you forgot to meet this person, you forgot to send this. And now the day went by and there's 3, 4, 5 things your calendar didn't do. And the next day goes on and the next thing happened. And then associates gets upset because you didn't respond back to them and they think you know what I'm saying? So very important to schedule yourself. And that is absolutely critical.
And just to add to that, doing 1 hour increments are really important because, you know, when you're scheduling, if you do a couple calls here and then you do a couple emails there, and then you tend to lose a lot of time in between. And I read a book, it's called Win the Hour, Win the Day. And if you just go on YouTube, you can see her. Her name is Chris Ward. It's such a simple little read, but it talks about what do successful people do. And of course, successful people are structured, they're organized, they have their strategy plan, and they do 1 hour increments on what they need to do to get accomplished with their goal. So for example, in network marketing, we're prospecting, we're inviting, we're following up, we're doing 3-way calls, connecting people to create some credibility and vision, and then we're getting people started right. So it's setting those increments. So based on the level that you're at, if you're brand new with Max or you're fairly new and your income's low, that means you got to be doing a lot of prospecting and a lot of inviting people to the online presentations. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna do 1 hour increments and no distractions, you guys. This is what you got to control, is those distractions, because we understand that, you know, there are distractions, but all distractions are equal. When you put your 1 hour hat on prospecting, no distractions. Put a note on your door. Let your family know. I know that sometimes, you know, you got the kids running around, but talk to the person who's in the house with you, or do it when the kids are napping or something. You know, you gotta figure it out and get a plan that's going to work for you.
Win the hour, win the day.
Win
Awesome.
the hour, win the day.
All right, great. So now, do you want to ask?
Yeah, I have a question for you, Tammy. And I know during this period where everyone is at home, especially women, like women who have families, it could be a bit challenging. So I wanted to ask, what unique features would you say women have that could be leveraged upon this time to help the business?
You know, because we have a lot of things that we need to accomplish. You know, one of the things that we really need to do is to be disciplined on our scheduling, because it's so easy to get off track. That's something that we need to do. But I think one of our greatest assets is the patience and, you know, our ability to bring people together. And I think, you know, just you really got to hone into this online stuff. And women tend to want to connect. Women are less competitive. Well, most women, because there's some women that I know that are very competitive, but they're more in collaboration and wanting to support each other. That's why, ladies, get on the support groups. Any type of group that you're doing something that you love to do. For example, you want to connect with entrepreneur women. You want to connect with women with a sport that you like, women in the wellness industry, women who want to lose weight. Join a bunch of groups and connect with them. And because that's something that we're really good at, is connecting people with people in groups. And you can meet a lot of dynamic women as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, and one thing I'll add, one thing I found that is this trend that I didn't know I had until like the family began to grow, is the superpower of multitasking. I think it's something for sure that women have, because you see in this period especially, a lot of women are complaining, oh, how do you handle the kids and this and that and that. But I think we've been blessed with that ability. And then also something I learned from you, because during I've heard you emphasize it, is delegating. You know, we don't have to do everything by ourselves. Like more often than not, if you look around, you'll find help. So I think if we really just keep into perspective that, okay, like we don't have to lift the whole ship. Like we could always delegate and, compartmentalize a lot of things. I think it really, really, really help as well.
Great. So
yeah, delegating for sure. Yeah, and again, everything's about scheduling too. There's so many things that you still can do, but you can do it at the end of the day. Get your work done. Get your priorities straight. Like my house is not as clean as it should be because we're so busy building this business online, and I'm okay with it. So I'm just focused on building our business right now. And
just
I'll
for
get
the
to that
record,
later.
I get involved in cleaning the house.
Yeah, he helps.
I don't
Well, it's great. It's great. I'm delegating.
Just for the record.
great. How does it feel as like a couple building the business? How does it? How has that helped your business?
It's actually a really good question. Just yesterday, I was thinking, we got so much stuff going on, and just recently, Tammy, I've learned how to create great PowerPoints, where before I would have to do all of that all the time. And it's really awesome when we can divide the tasks. So in parallel, I will do something and Tammy will do something else. And at the end of the day, we're both working at the same time. And half the effort, double the results, if you understand what I mean. Which means if we're both busy, then we can accomplish twice as much. Right. But obviously this requires communication, coordination, so we don't waste our time doing the same thing on both ends, right? So I think that's really, really important. And we complement each other in many, many aspects. Mm-hmm. And I think that's, I could go on and on and on. I mean, it's, we feed off each other. Often she's going to share something, and as she's sharing, something is popping in, and oh yeah, that's true. And as I'm doing this, she's doing the same thing, and she will add on. And so it's a really wonderful partnership. But for those of you that are single, don't be discouraged because you don't have a partner. And I'm sharing this. I know that some, I know that some of you may feel this way. And you know what? It's okay. Don't turn around and try to get into a relationship by force because you want a partner and get into a disastrous situation.
There's a lot of powerful women and a powerful single man building their businesses. So I don't think you have to be a couple to build this business. We just kind of leverage off each other and our skills.
But work with your upline, work with your, with maybe sidelines and feed from each other and learn from each other. And, you can accomplish very similar things.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And don't also go on YouTube and check how to get married during COVID-19. Okay, so one final question before it's time. What advice would you give to maybe someone who is considering joining Max, or someone who just started their Max business or might be struggling with it right now?
I mean, this is a great question because listen, we know that there is thousands of opportunities out there, and everybody will claim that they have the holy grail. I get that. What I can tell you is there's a lot of common sense with Max International. Look at the common problem in our society, as I alluded earlier, and look at what we have as a solution. And think of it as an investor. If you want to invest your money into something, where would you want to invest your money? Where there's a solution to a common problem. That's how I think of things like this. Max has that solution to a very, very, very common problem. And what happens is, instead of feeding the fat cats, and again, no disrespect meant to the big corporations and the pharmas, and we need them, I get that. But we, the consumers, get compensated for telling other consumers. That's all it is. Yeah. And those of you that are well structured and organized in communicating and duplicating and making sure that people are plugged into the information, such as what you're listening here today, you will have results and you will have success with this company. So to go back to the question is, if you're evaluating for the very first time this particular venture, look at our products and just listen to what people are saying about it. I mean, there's more stories than what I can tell about it. And when you provide a common solution to a big problem, there's always an opportunity beside it. And that's what we're offering to you here. It's a great solution to a common problem, and we get compensated for it.
And I can say it is the perfect time because people are staying awake at night. They're afraid to go out. They know that they have to strengthen their immune system. So we have a solution to that. There's so many people that need to earn money. And so anytime there's ever been a devastation in the marketplace, our industry thrives. So this is the time to be part of this and to leverage while so many people are looking.
And I see there's a question here that you posted, Dr. James. I guess you're using Anne's account. Did you want me to answer that one?
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, how do you build a team in a foreign country?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you're asking us because we've done just that. First of all, you need to partner with people that are capable. You can't partner with someone who, if I may be frank here, if someone can't rub two pennies together, it's very difficult to work with such a person because you need someone that can stand on their own 2 feet. And you're there to emphasize, support, build, and contribute. You can't think of, I have to do it all in that foreign country because we're foreigners. We are guests in your country. So we can't turn around and tell you how to run your lives. We need someone that already is running their lives. And here's what we have learned, and we want to share that with you. And one of the reasons you've hit Crown is you've applied that very, very, very well. And it's not just credit to us. I mean, I know you have great, wonderful mentors that you work with, you know, Dr. Bright and many others, and corporate and so forth. And basically, you and Kuku, I mean, you're committed, you're strong, you're brilliant, you're good people. So you need to partner with people that are solid on their own 2 feet, and then teach. And you don't want to go there for 2 weeks, you know, one time. You got to commit. That's another point. See, Tammy and I, when we committed to Nigeria, we committed to Nigeria. You know, we were there last November, and we were supposed to be in Ghana this week as we speak. Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't travel at the moment. And I know that Ghana right now just relieved the proximity thing, and now people can do a bit more business. But in Canada, we're in the dark ages. We're behind, and you know, there's a lot of strict confinement. So it's difficult to travel at the moment. But the fact here is that we're committed, and this is what it is. If you want to build a business internationally, don't expect to do a one phone call and one connection on Facebook or LinkedIn and having your upline meet them and they go on by their business and then expecting the whole thing is going to explode for you. No, you need to commit to that too. And I'm just telling you frankly, how did we get there? It's because we committed to the leadership, as you know, Dr. James, with everything that we've done from day one, with the meeting, you know what I mean? So these are all the little stepping stones that has created that foundation to help you rise. And this is what you need to kind of be prepared. And you don't need to do that right away all in one shot. These are gradual things. And as your income grows, you get more money to do more, right? And this is kind of how you're working in your market. And keep in mind, if you intend to start in a market and Max is not open yet, I mean, there's a lot of headache that comes with that. I mean, you know, Dr. James, the challenge we had with the US dollar. And
focus on the markets that were already open. In
that's my recommendation.
Great markets. The products are approved. Business is approved.
We have 18 markets right now that we're operating in. At least products are proven. I really suggest you work within this frame and not try to open a new one because it's just, it gets overwhelming.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Focus, you guys. This is important too. Pick a target focus. So if you want to focus on an international market, just say, you know what, I'm just looking for people in the US right now, or I'm looking for people here, and then start focusing in a certain area so you can build up some momentum in that area.
Yeah.
This is a good idea.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for your time. We know you are very busy, but you took out time in such a short notice to spend the hour with us. Because of time, we would have to end the call here. We've learned a lot from you guys. We know you've been in the business for 13 and a half years and you have built great success. We admire you. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys and we learn from you all the way. One thing we really love about you guys is your humility.
Right.
You're down to earth. The fact that you are just here to serve and irrespective.
So receptive.
Yeah, irrespective of the team or where the person is from, they're always so willing to help. And I pray that you guys remain blessed in everything you do. We appreciate you guys from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you for spending the evening with us, and I'm sure everyone on the call also appreciates you guys and have learned from you. And I believe that everyone on this call, one day you will also be a crown diamond. You would also be sharing your nuggets and your stories and how you went through COVID-19 one season and you still built to crown eventually. And that is for each and every one of you on this call. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for the opportunity. Have a great evening.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.